The question that you make me was how to make possible innovation in public educational system. So this is being a journey. It's not a point. In Portugal, we have a centralized and developed school management, political and religious neutrality, free education, and state and private kindergarten schools, and compulsory education from 6 to 19 years old. Our priorities are to provide a common general background education, school for all, to promote an educational culture of excellence, and to improve schools' success and the quality of education. How can we do it? In the last years, we are dropping early drop rates in Portugal, if you can see that. And in the PISA of 2015, we get our best results. And so we are getting better. And now in 2018, we decreased a little bit, but in the statistical way of viewing things, we are stabilized. So we are good, but we want to be great. And so we have different programs in Portugal that were implemented and not finished. So we implement a program and we continue, and then we need another program and so on. And this is what I will present to you. So first, our profile for the end of the compulsory schooling. This is our profile to a Portuguese student with 18 years old. And you can see that we have well-being, health, and environment has main competence to develop. And we have interpersonal relationships, has developing social and emotional competence. And this is what we want to our students in Portugal. So it's a big goal. We have taped the program that you are talking about from 1996 to this moment. And it's a program to schools in very vulnerable territories. So schools in priority intervention territories is like we say, we need priority political intervention in these schools. And we have that number of schools involved in the network. And that's why your practice was more powerful in Portugal, because these schools talk about what they do. And they bring teachers to tell stories about their practice. And narratives are very strong in the community of teachers. So when a teacher said, I did that and my students react like this and so on, the other teacher can understand what he's saying. If Nádia, as Minister of Education, said that, it's not the same. So we don't tell or teach. We pick teachers and they teach each other. They tell stories about their practices. And this way of doing things was used in the pilot project that we developed with 6 schools. And we said to that 6 schools, you can do whatever you want. You can take away all the laws of education in Portugal and do a new school. And so in this, and with the same resources, and the students have to become that kind of student, and they have to become zero drops in the end of 3 years. So this was the challenge that we made to 6 schools. And they made a new school. And these 6 new schools were somehow righted in the law of Portugal. And now we have 2,035 schools doing new schools. And in the last years, we have all the schools doing new schools. So TAPE program aims to improve school achievement and quality and prevent early school leaving because it's in vulnerable territories. And we invite schools to strengthen the relations between school families and communities. We have this way of doing things in TAPE program. Cycles of improvement are needed. So we are always asking, what is your problem? What you are doing for solve this problem? What your evidence? Do you solve the problem? We ask, we listen, and we ask, and we listen. We, Minister of Education. And schools have this culture of asking ourselves, what is my problem? How can I solve it? Implement, study the achievements, and ask ourselves again, my problem is solved or I have a new problem. And so the idea is prevention, stability, and sustainability, because he have to be solutions with impact. So we have to see that a long way. So this is the culture of schools that are in the program. And then the 6 schools that we say, well, you don't have laws for you. And the idea is that this school do innovation. And they do innovation because we understand that innovation is locally defined. I have a problem locally, I seek for a solution, I have increased value with this solution, yes, and then we have innovation. And if I have a new thing in my school, I have to tell others that solves my problem. And so we began working with several schools. And they can change everything. They can change how school organize classes and groups. They change work time of each subject, school calendar. They change curriculum subject. They put new contents on the curriculum. They change approach. They personalize curricula. They teachers work differently. The leaders, management, resources differently. And, for example, they bring new approaches as you come with this project. With this innovation from 6 schools, we go to a bigger project. So we are now working with all schools, from private and public school, and we are giving them autonomy. Autonomy to do better. To do better because we have these results, and we think that the general political response is not enough. So now we have to give schools the opportunity to create micro-political solutions. So now the schools know the students, they know the problem, they have to engage in new solutions. And each student, it's different. So thank you for the first speaker that defined inclusion, because in Portugal, inclusion is all people are different, all people are potential, and all people have difficulties. So we are all different. We have to give them different responses because they are different. So what is flexibility for us? It's different approaches to different persons. And we do that by approaches of time of learning, of spaces learning, of practice of evaluation, and integrating content. So in this moment, Portugal have one school, one project, not a school, one kind of school in Portugal. So why we are successful? Because Portugal works in networks. All the organisms of the Ministry of Education work together. When we go to a school, we go together. So I am from part of the ministry that works with pedagogy, and we have a part of the ministry that works with resources, and then we have another organism to work like inspection and so on. So we go as a team, a multidisciplinary team, and we work with schools. So the Ministry of Education is a network. Then we go to schools, clusters, and we communicate with schools, and we listen and ask questions. And then they connect each other and ask questions each other and listen each other. Sometimes we group some schools and they work together in the network more closed. For example, your network or a region network. And then we introduce another kind of schools in the network to bring diversity. And for example, we have professional schools or private schools that connect with our network of public schools. And then we have the university as critical friends that ask hard questions and seek for evidence of the solution of the schools and write papers about it and so on. And then they have networks between them because we reunite that people to ask them how schools are doing things and to understand how can we support better. And then they communicate with us and they work with a network inside clusters. So the clusters are networks, micro networks or larger networks. For example, networks in the community or between students and families or other kind of people that works in the community. So we have all common aims: promote educational inclusion and educational success, prevent dropout, improve the learning outcomes and promote quality, reduce indiscipline. To do that, with some schools, we ask for strategic improvement plans, ask for biannual reports and follow-up meetings, focus group. And to all schools in Portugal, we have meetings, regional, national, and with workshops to improve practice. Coordinating meetings is our role, And we have a lot of communication from blogs, Facebook, official website to engage people in communication with lots of video of practices. So one last idea. So we can see us as Portugal, a network of networks. And we have schools that are nodes. They are in different networks, and we, in this moment, have a lesson learned. A school that is in many networks is stronger, more mature, and more able to innovate. So how can we do that? As a Minister of Education, we support schools. We keep simple, with no paperwork. We are near of people, support them, respect autonomy, promote reflection and challenge, and support exchange of practice, and do networking. Thank you.